Alright, now we should be back on YouTube. I don't know why it's so much harder to just, like, reconnect on YouTube. I have to, like, wait till it, like, finishes the stream. It's really weird. Alright, well, we're back on YouTube. I'm gonna open up this chat so I can see if everyone's back. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Okay, we're back. We are back. I don't know what that is, but I might have next stream I might have to do on Twitch only to see if we get an issue, because it's telling me that OBS is disconnecting. And I don't know if that's some like crazy glitch in the system or if it's because I'm simulcasting. I have no idea. But it has only happened now since I started simulcasting, so I might have to like mess with that. But we're back on both. So, I guess I gotta wait for everyone to come back, because there were people asking me questions and I didn't get to answer them. Is that Shiny Alpha Electrode? If you're still here... No, it's just Shiny Electrode. Okay, so let's see... So if Kiwi Fruit is back, they asked me if since the Emerald copies are in Spanish, does it mean you couldn't trade it up to bank? That's not correct. I can trade it up to bank, because all it cares about is if it's from the event. It doesn't care what language it is. It's a common misconception. I keep getting comments on my video about that. I've sent up Spanish Mews from this event in Emerald into bank with no issues. YouTube algorithm blessed you with your Living Dex Pokeball challenge. You're a huge fan of the video. Great stuff. Well, thank you. I'm glad you found it. What is that behind Sandshrew and Trapinch? It's Gligar. Those are just something from the Sand Pokey spot in XD. That's a hunt we started. Am I good at drawing? Yeah, I'm good at drawing. I'm an artist. I drew, well, that Dratini thing that's behind me on the wall right here. I made that. I made this. You kind of have to be good at drawing in order to make stuff. I made the Game Boy SP skin. I made all my emotes on Twitch, so through all those. Everything that's like design. I made all my follow animations and stuff, like animated those. So yeah, I'm good at drawing. Okay, I'm gonna put away the bingo card now. We're gonna continue hunting. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. It's kind of frustrating that it's happened both streams that I've been simulcasting. I think what's more frustrating is that it's like so much harder. Yo, Vanguard, thank you for the sub on YouTube. I think what's more frustrating is the fact that it takes so much longer to boot up YouTube stream, like to get that going again, than it does for Twitch. Twitch, I just go live and it's like, you're good. YouTube, it's like, I'll start it and it won't work until I like wait another like 30 seconds and I'll have to like end it and then start it again. Stream fell off when you're about to answer the Dratini question about White Tree. I don't know how White Tree works. If you, like, I'm guessing you encounter the Pokemon in it, but you can't catch them. If that's the case, then no, it doesn't count. Dratini's very easy to shiny hunt in Gen 5 via fishing. It's, like, really common, so... by, like, Dragon Spiral Tower. So, so yeah, like, I'm not gonna hunt an uncatchable Dratini. It's ones I'd be able to catch. Alright, now that we're good... You're also interested in drawing? Nice. What's the bingo card for? You're new here? It's just a little, like, fun thing to try to, like, fill out. I know you didn't redeem it, but there's no redemptions on YouTube, but we were talking about it earlier, and I just put it away. But, it's essentially just you pick a bunch of hunts that you want to do, and you try to fill them out as much as possible. I have already gotten 2 of them for this year, being the Vulpix and Sizzlipede, and then these are the hunts that I kind of want to see if I can do this year. But yeah, we've been talking about it for a bit, so I'm not going to keep it up for very long. He didn't alter someone will give it to you as a gift. Oh, that one. Oh, no, that definitely doesn't count. I said full odds. I said full odds. Yeah, you guys can technically all redeem the bingo card again because this is a new stream, which is very unfortunate. But I'm not gonna... That's gonna be your points you're wasting. Like, let me just do a disclaimer. I will flash the bingo card if you redeem it, and then I will... and then that's it. Like, I'm not gonna... We're not gonna keep talking about it all stream. Yeah, no, so golden, like... it's full... I specified full odds only. So, obviously, a guaranteed shiny is not full odds. So, it'd be a 1 in 8, 192 Dratini I'm going for. I was thinking maybe it was like Battle Pyramid and there's like wild Dratinis that you can hunt for in White Tree. Alright, golden with the freaking bingo card. There you go. Alright, cool. Just got your third Z Crystal and Ultra Moon. Nice. Your one friend is better at you than drawing. Drawing, I am somewhat... So, I don't want to, like, toot my own horn and sound really, like, too... I don't want to sound like I have a big ego or anything, but I've kind of had a natural gift of drawing since I was young. But drawing is something that can easily be taught. Like, if you are terrible at drawing, if you get taught how to draw by someone who knows how to draw and do your own research and practice, you can get good at drawing. Like, anyone can do it. I just had the luxury of not essentially doing it from scratch. Like, I already had a little bit of skill naturally. Had to do the memes are worth more than the points. Yeah. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say train. Like, train makes it sound like it's like a year's worth thing. Like, you gotta study the scrolls for 1,000 years. No, you just gotta practice a little bit and then just... Like, there is knowledge. Like, it's not... Like, I grasped the concept of how to make drawings look good when I was young, but it's not something where I can just say, hey, I'll give you a picture and you draw this. Like, there's stuff you need to, like, learn, like, how things work, so you know how to, like, get shapes and stuff working for things. Or, like, certain techniques. And it takes practice. Like, I'm not going to say, here, this is how you draw a circle, and you're not going to be able to draw a really good circle right away. Like, you know, you got to get that feeling of it. Are you shiny hunting on the DS? I'm hunting Bidoof. The term practice makes perfect. False true, it does. What's my favorite gen to hunt in? Gen 3. Specifically, Fire Red, Leaf Green are my favorite games to hunt in. Because there's no methods. Everything's full odds. But you can get really fast encounters. So it doesn't even feel that bad. So it's just, like, really satisfying. Feel like Dragon Ball? I hope this isn't, like, a lead-in to some, like, D's Nuts joke. But, yeah, I like Dragon Ball. There's, like, a new one coming out soon, but I don't know how I feel about it, because they're all, like, babies. And I wasn't the biggest fan of GT, so... You want to get good at drawing? Bro, just draw. I mean, that you're making jokes, but that's, like, true. Like, just draw, and, like, you'll start off terrible, but you'll get better. Like, even as someone who was naturally gifted at drawing, as a kid, I wasn't the best at drawing. Like... I'm way better now than I was when I was a kid. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm like naturally really good and then I'm the same. Like, no, I've gotten way better at drawing. When I was a kid, if I drew something right the first time and then, like, for example, when I was a kid, I wanted to draw all of the Pokemon, and when I was on Infernape, I drew an Infernape based on an Infernape level X card I had, and it was such a good drawing. And then my brother I think it was my brother, he, like, crumpled it up or something. He, like, grabbed it and, like, ripped it accidentally. He was, like, being weird, but he accidentally destroyed it. and I couldn't redraw it. Like, I could not get it to look right the second time. I'd be able to do that easily now. Like, I'd be able to easily, like, draw something, destroy it, and then redraw it again. Like, and have it look most likely better than the first time. So there's, like, it just takes a lot of practice to get good at that, but you start at different levels of skill, and then you just practice from there, and you can all get to the same place when it comes to drawing. You just gotta have the passion for it. It's like anything. Like, anything, if you have the passion to learn and, like, teach yourself or, like, learn from others and practice, you will get good at anything. You just gotta have the drive to do it. If you don't have that drive, you're never gonna get good at it. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby Sapphire are favorites. I do like Ruby Sapphire, but the encounter rate are a little slower than Fire Red, Leaf Green, so that's why I say I prefer Fire Red, Leaf Green. I mean, it's all Gen 3, so it's not like that much different, but Fire Red, Leaf Green just hits different with how fast the encounters are. And the blue borders on the summary screens are just crazy. They're so cool. Coolest summary screens in all of Pokemon. What do you mean by tease nuts? It'd be like, oh, Dragon Balls on your chin or whatever. You know? That's what I was expecting you to do. Because that's just a common thing in like chats. People always try to get the streamer to say something funny. Shadow Stantler and Coughing are back. Are they in, like, raids, or are they in grunts? Because if they're in grunts, then, like, who gives a crap? Like, honestly, if I'm being honest. If they're in grunts, then just, there's no point. Like, you're just not gonna get them anyway. At least you can get them perfect, though, if they're in grunts, so it wouldn't be the worst. But in terms of shinies, it's not even remotely interesting. As someone who has grinded the decoys for Bellsprout and still hasn't gotten one out of the whole rotation, it's just like, them putting a shiny in grunts just means nothing. But at least I have a better chance of getting like a perfect Stantler to potentially evolve into Weird Ear, and then Coughing for Galarian Weezing, but I mean, those are already way more likely than the shiny anyway, so yeah, Shadow Ho is in raids this weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to play tomorrow to get that, but I'll try Sunday. Yeah, they're 1 in 256 for grunts, which in my opinion is absurd. It is so imbalanced. They should be... Well, here's the thing. They should... If I'm being completely honest, every grunt should have a Shadow Shiny chance, and they should just be 1 in 512. That would be balanced, but the issue is they have them be 1 in 256. Only like 3 or 4 grunts out of the entire rotation can even have Shadow Shinies, and most of the time they don't, like, you just don't get them. Like, like, say like Pineco in the bug grunt. You will get Pineco 1 out of every like 15 bug grunts, and then it'll have a 1 in 256 chance to be shiny. Like, it's just never gonna happen. What they needed to do is have them be like the 1 in 128, and then have them be more common from grunts. That would have made way more sense. Because last rotation, Cliff had Dratini, so I was grinding rockets to try to get Shadow Shiny Dratini 3 times. And I was grinding those decoy grunts that had Bellsprout. And I never got a Shadow Shiny from a grunt. Like, it's just way too unlikely. And the decoys are common, so, like, from regular grunts, it's just never gonna happen. Unless it's, like, maybe Grimer, because Grimer's the only one that's, like, somewhat common to get from grunts. Has the D's Nuts joke dropped already? Well, someone did that to me yesterday. It was the Force Kin. But I said it like that, so a lot of people didn't really pick up on that, including myself, until they, like, someone else mentioned it in chat. You think Machop is in fighting? Yikes. Another thing that's, like, imbalanced about the grunts having the 1 in 256 shiny rate is that it doesn't make sense to me when a perfect IV is more common than the shiny. Like, I shouldn't be getting 17 perfect purified Bellsprouts before a shiny Shadow one, you know? But that's just what it is. Because, like, when you have a weather-boosted Pokemon from a rocket, it's a 1 in 64 chance they become perfect purified. That's like, what is that? Like a third or fourth of the odds? It's a fourth. It's a fourth of the odds of a shiny one. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you're on average going to get 4 perfect purifieds for every 1 Shadow shiny. It's just stupid. It's so imbalanced. Any other game 1 in 256 easy mode in Pokemon Go? Boy, it's not even just in Pokemon Go borderline impossible. It's Pokemon Go in a method that you physically cannot get that many encounters for, even if you tried. It's like raids. Like, there's a reason. Like, when they do like 1 in 20 raid bosses, those are for the most part fine. But when they do the 1 in 64 raid bosses that are only available for like 5 days, like, those are borderline impossible to get without spending a ton of money. And even if you spend a ton of money, you're still very likely to just not get it in the time frame. Encounter rate is more important than shiny rate, and when they make the shiny rate imbalanced compared to the encounter rate, it's stupid. It's one of the issues I have. It's one of the reasons why I don't like shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet. I think even full odds, I think the encounter rate compared to the shiny rate is severely imbalanced. The shiny rate needs to be lower, and the encounter rate needs to be, or the encounter rate needs to be lower in Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, Pokemon Go has a ton of awful encounter rates. And then they have, like, Pokemon that are always, like, 1 in 64 shiny rate that actually just spawn commonly. Like, right now, like, Alolan Vulpix and Bronzor spawn pretty commonly and are 1 in 64 shiny rate. Like, that just makes no sense. Or, like, Scyther, too. Scyther's another one. Scyther's even more annoying. Scyther's, like, probably the most common one. Today you slipped on ice and almost broke a bone. That was fun. That doesn't sound fun. Hopefully you're okay. You said almost, so that means you didn't break a bone, so you're okay. So that's good. Clink is also 1 in 64. Yeah, Clink's 1 in 64. I don't see nearly as many Clinks, though, so it's not as annoying. But, like, Scyther, like, every day I'll see, like, 10 Scythers. Like, that is so stupid. I will get a shiny Scyther, like, one to 3 times a week in Pokemon Go, with how common it is. This is why you Masuda in Scarlet and Violet. You know it's bad when you have to resort to a method to make shinies feel special again. Gaming Trico's here now. Alright, cool. Thank you for the shiny luck. And we're almost at 3,000 on Mew. Slowly but surely. I think what's nice about this Mew hunt is that, yeah, it's not super fast, but we will not phase. And that's nice. It is nice knowing that as soon as we get a shiny on Emerald, we're done. Want to swap? You see no Scythers. You do have 2 already, so unless you can evolve into Cleave in the future, you can't BS to try for more. Yeah, you want to see how many shiny Scythers I have? Once I load up Pokemon Go. Oh, well, I use my counter on my phone for Bidoof, so then I'll, like, load up something. Yo, Blindy Guy McSqueezy! Thank you for the Prime sub! Thank you so much, Blind Guy McSqueezy. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, you want to see how many shiny Scythers I have? Scyther and shiny. What does that say? 38? It's kind of blurry. One of them is purified. I traded it from my alt account, so I don't know if we count. Let's do end. Well, I don't know if I can do an exclamation point traded because some are probably like ones I swapped. I do have a shadow one though, so that's kind of cool. And then, yeah, see, like this lucky one I probably swapped with someone. So, like, that'd be one I, like, found, but traded. But then the Cleavor doesn't count because that was from Raid. That was from the Raid day. But yeah, it's just like, it's stupid. Let me see Bronzor. Let's do Shiny and Bronzor. Okay, I only have 15, which is only 15 is wild to say, but what's another annoying one? Darumaka. I got a... Before the holiday event we just had, I only had one Galarian Darumaka shiny. And now I have 7. Just from that one event. Oh, Gligar. That's another one they just did. Gligar, if I could type. 11. One of them's a shadow, though. Vulpix. Vulpix and Alola, because the other one's full odds. 13. Oh, you know what's a wild one? Sneasel. Sneasel is always perma boosted. 45 of these weirdos. 45 of those guys. Onyx is another big one. 23. Not like it's just stupid, man. Makes no sense. I should feed my buddy that I'm on now that I'm on here. You're still looking for both sorts of Darumaka? Well, at least the Unova one is full odds. I'm pretty sure it was boosted for the New Year's event, though. I'm pretty sure it was boosted for the New Year's event. But it wasn't, like, boosted enough. It was either 1 in 256 or 1 in 128. It was not, like, crazy high odds. Okay, let me battle Candela. I gotta battle my alt, because that gives a different emotion point, makes it a little easier to get this thing excited again. Got a shiny Therian Thundurus on your first raid last week? Nice! I did one Therian Thundurus raid, and that's mainly because I have a Shundo one. So, like, I was like, I'll do it for the XL, but I'd rather just have the Incarnate form to, like, raid for XL. Try to get that one perfect IV or something. Alright, let me battle my alt account to get this emotion point for my Shundo Firo. My Shundo Thundurus, though, is from a lucky trade. It's not like I didn't get it from a raid. So... Good night, Thor. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, I gotta add 2 to my counter, but I'm battling my alt account in Go to get this emotion point, so I gotta finish up this battle. How old am I? I'm 25. Okay, hopefully I can get this excited in like a half hour. Alright, get this out of here. Now we're back. Gen 2 Virtual Console will end you. You got around to start catching everything in their native regions thanks to your vids. Almost on Gen 1. Gen 2 wasn't bad except for Entei for me. The roamers are obnoxious in Gen 2. How am I able to shiny hunt on Emerald? Just like any other game. You just can't do resets because Emerald's RNG is broken. Emerald has broken RNG, but it's still very possible to shiny hunt. You just shouldn't do reset hunts unless you know exactly what you're doing. So, It's easier to just tell people that don't do reset hunts in Emerald, and everything else should be fine. What's up, Noel, love? Welcome in. Is it possible to shiny hunt Manaphy egg from a ROM Pokemon Ranger? Yes. You just have to trade it to a different save file after, like, because the save file that receives the egg, it'll be shiny locked. Got Paldean Fates Elite Trainer Box. Nice. Not on this stream, but earlier, like, my stream like got shut down because I disconnected. But on the stream before, we opened up Paldean Fates ETB and then 3 blister packs, and we got some pretty good pulls. So you should check that out. It's a pretty fun set to open. I got one of my chase cards, which is awesome. This is cool. Nice. You're currently around 10,800 SRs for Charmander and Fire Leaf Green and keep losing motivation after chunks of a couple thousand. Do you tend to go until you get a shiny, you take breaks from hunts? If I'm really not feeling it, I'll take breaks, but for the most part, I keep going. Like, I technically have put a hunt on hold right now. I have been doing Sandshrew and XD, and it's a really slow and tedious hunt, and I'm like 6,000 in on it. And I could be hunting it with this Mew, but I wanted to do this Bidoof because I'm a little more motivated to do the Bidoof right now. But I'll get back to it. But for the most part, I usually just do them until I get the shiny, because the motivation for me is like getting the shiny and completing the hunt, and like, because to me, I see shiny hunting as like a challenge, and it's fun to like conquer that challenge. No way we're about the same age. I feel like it makes sense. You like to do RNG sometimes? I don't mess with RNG abuse. I'm not a fan of it. I mention this like most of the time, but like I like the what I like about shinies is the rarity of them, not the different colors. The different colors for me is just like a bonus if it's a cool shiny, and makes it like that much cooler. But I like finding just like the rare Pokemon. So when you take away the rarity of a shiny, it's not interesting, it's not exciting to me anymore. And that's one of the reasons I don't like shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet. It's why I don't do RNG abuse. Because even though I know RNG abuse isn't like the easiest, simplest thing to pull off, it takes away the rarity of the shiny. So it's not really interesting to me at all. But I don't have an issue with people doing it. But I'll always recommend doing like an actual like hunt instead. Congrats on getting Gen 5. Well, thank you, Swim Artifact. What's up, Knucklehead? Welcome in. Avoiding nearly every trainer now. Biting you on the way back on the way to... Wait, what game are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Sun and Moon, right? Oh, you're trying to get back and you have to like battle every trainer that's like weak now. Yeah, that's annoying. That happens to me in like every playthrough. I'll be like, I just gotta play through this game to set up a hunt. And then I'll be doing like, say, the Gen 5 living decks. If you guys were watching those streams, it was literally like every route I went on to like catch some Pokemon. I'll be like, oh, you can get this Pokemon here. I would have to battle like 5 trainers, and I'm like, this is stupid. At least G-O-D as a sub. What's G-O-D? What does that stand for? You got ads, you're back. Yeah, I don't control the ads. The only thing I can do is make more ads appear, but Twitch, unless you're like subbed, Twitch will just auto play ads at random points. What I like about YouTube is that like even though YouTube will do like midstream ads, you can at least like skip back to see what you missed. You can't do that on Twitch. They need to do that for Twitch. Make it so you can like scrub through this little live stream. That would be cool. Or like if you like missed something that someone said, like you just can't like go back on it on Twitch, but you can on YouTube. Be like, wait, what did they say? And like skip back a little bit. And be like, oh, cool, and then go back to live. Oh, Gale of Darkness. Oh, usually people just call it XD. Yeah, it has a soft reset. I just hit the reset button on my Wii though, because when I'm like hunting it, my Wii is like, you can't see it, but I'm like touching it right now. Like I can just reach it, so I just hit the reset button on it. It's easier than to do the reset combo. Coliseum doesn't, but again, like if I were to hunt something in Coliseum, I would just hit the reset button on the Wii. So it wouldn't be like a big issue for me. The hardest part about Coliseum hunts is that you can only save at PCs, which is so stupid. So, like, depending on what you're going for, part of the reset is, like, going to the trainer to battle them, which is just absurd. Yeah, it's obviously on you for skipping trainers. We're not saying it's, like, a fault of the game. It's just we try to avoid them, and then it backfires. Gen 7 is your favorite gen your entire life. It has a completely different feel. The Sun and Moon anime was great. I never watched the anime. I want to, like, watch the full anime, but I'm on, like, season 4, and it's so repetitive that it's, like, hard to, like, want to watch. But eventually I'll chip away at it. What's your opinion on shinies like Garchomp? I don't think Garchomp is that bad of a shiny, honestly. I think Garchomp gets overhated. I think there's easily so many worse shinies than Garchomp out there. I typically prefer more noticeable shinies, but some subtle shinies I think work well. Like, unpopular opinion, I think the shiny Tauroses from Scarlet and Violet are pretty good for subtle shinies. I think shiny Articuno is the best of the Kanto birds. And that one's kind of subtle. I think, here's like a prime example of, like, sometimes the subtle shinies are totally fine. Is that my least favorite shiny of the Kanto birds is Moltres, and that's the one that changes the most. Because I prefer Zapdos not changing that much, but not looking bad, as opposed to Moltres changing a lot and looking awful. Like, I think Moltres' shiny color, like, that fleshy pink with, like, the orange and yellow flames looks terrible. Such a bad color combination. How dare I? Dear someone, I'm writing this letter to you. Black Cat, thank you for the shiny luck. You're off, gonna watch some anime while going a bit longer for Dragonair. Good luck. Thank you for hanging out. But yeah, for Garchomp, I think Garchomp's overhated. My least favorite shinies as of now are Igglybuff and Ceruledge. Not only because they're subtle shinies, but there's more to it that make them frustrating as subtle shinies. Igglybuff is because in Gen 2, it had the same exact shiny colors as Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff, which are pretty fine, if not decent shinies. And then in Gen 3, they made Igglybuff so much worse and have kept that design, and is so frustrating that they did that. And then Ceruledge is just such a cool Pokemon, and they purposely designed it to be such a terrible shiny, and it's so bad, and it's so unnoticeable, and the eyes don't even look as good as the non-shiny one. And it's so frustrating that they did that. Oh, speaking of big shiny Bidoof, I should put Bidoof behind the games. Bidoof. There he is. Or she is. It's a female Bidoof. Which pack do you get the shiny Mew from, by the way? I think it was the second or third blister pack. It was one of the blister packs. What do you think of Sword and Shield, Dynamax, Adventures, Legendary Hunts? I have a lot of negative opinions on those. Like, I think they're cool. They're not for me, but what I don't like is that the fact that some of the shinies are exclusive to it, and, like, one like Zygarde, you have to have other people for it, because you're just not going to beat it with NPCs. And eventually that will just be impossible, because they'll shut down the online for the Switch someday. And I think that's just completely not okay. And I like full odds hunting, so having exclusive shinies that you can't full odds hunt I think is stupid. I would have just preferred to, like, do resets for them. My favorite Pokemon is Dragonite. Randomly came across a video of Stephen A. Smith choosing a starter Pokemon, proceeds to pick Charmander, calling it Shamander. Reason, big forehead like him. I don't know who Stephen A. Smith is, I'm sorry. How do you move in the exact same pattern every time you encounter the Mew? Muscle memory. My first stream doing this, I was very bad at it. And the trick is to only look at one of the games. If you try to switch between both games looking at both of them, you'll mess up. It's muscle memory, and you only have to focus on one game. And it just works out. You gotta do Zygarde twice. Yeah, you gotta get one for the 10% form as well. Garchomp is a good shiny for me. You see exactly what the difference is. Yeah, it's a noticeable shiny. Here's what I think. Garchomp, noticeable shiny, not even a bad shiny, just a disappointing shiny compared to the rest of the line. Like, the rest of the line is way cooler. So when you have, like, Gible and Gabite, and then it goes to Garchomp, it's disappointing, yeah. But it's by no means, like, a bad shiny. It's just not the most exciting shiny. Moltres is just chicken that got de-skinned. Plucked. You really like how shiny Moltres looks on the Switch games? I think it looks better in... I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it doesn't look that bad. And then Gen 2, it looks good because the flames are also, like, red and pink. So it, like, matches way better. Blaziken's your favorite subtle shiny? Yeah, Blaziken's not bad, honestly. Okay, have I caught up on chat? Can't even beat a regular Flygon raid with NPCs. Yeah, Zygarde is, like, nearly impossible with NPCs. It is possible, but nearly impossible. So, like, eventually, if you miss out on Zygarde, not only is it you're forced to hunt it at boosted odds, which, you know, say what you want about methods versus full odds, but as soon as you start forcing players to do one way or the other, I have an issue with that. And they force people to do methods for that. And then it's also going to be impossible to hunt at some point if they don't add it to another game. And if we're looking at Scarlet and Violet's track record, we won't be hunting it in any future game. Your shiny Bidoof is a boy. Can mine and your Bidoof have a wedding? I don't have a shiny Bidoof yet. This plush is just a female because it only has the 3 fluffs on the tail. But I'm guessing they just did that because they didn't want to add extra material for it for a subtle difference. Shiny Garchomp simply got bleach over him? What do you mean? Got bleach over him? Do you know what bleach does? It makes things like white. Shiny Garchomp went from purple to gray, and then the chest went from red to orange. Like, it's not a subtle shiny, and it's definitely not bleached. It's worse in the sprite games, I will say. It's more of a bad shiny in the 2D games, but in the 3D games it looks fine. It's just disappointing compared to the rest of the line. This grunt has a Poiple. Oh yeah. Well, you've never played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Those are the people... I mean, spoiler alert. Those are the people you get Poiple from. Believe it or not. Oh, you meant the 2D games? Yeah, the 2D games, it's not as bad. But in modern, like, Pokemon, it's people, even like in the modern interpretations of Shiny Garchomp, people still say it's like the worst shiny ever, and I just think that's so false. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a great shiny, but it is far from the worst shiny ever. Like, even Gengar, I think, is worse, but Gengar had the issue of suffering, Gengar and Regice are 2 very unfortunate shinies, because they weren't that subtle back in the day, but when they switched over to 3D, they had changed the non-shiny versions to look more like the shiny versions, and that's what makes the shiny versions worse. Gengar used to be a very bright reddish purple, and now it's like this faded, like, dull purple, and the shiny is like a dullish purple-gray. So it's so much less noticeable. And then Regice used to be like almost a purplish, like, gray color when the non-shiny in the sprites, and now it's like, and then the shiny is this like bright blue. But now it's like the non-shiny is like this bright blue, and then the shiny is like a slightly brighter blue. So those ones have like really unfortunate Like, their shinies didn't get worse. The non-shiny is just make the shinies less noticeable. And I think it's even more of a shame with Gengar, because Gengar, like, I saw a video where someone gave regular Gengar the old colors from the Sprite games, and it looks so much cooler. Like, I don't know why they decided to make Gengar so dull. And it would have made the shiny look better. I still think they need to make the shiny, like, blue in some way, though. I don't like the white ones. The white ones are, like, too forced. Shiny Galar Moltres looks atrocious. Yeah. I don't like when they do the non-shiny regular colors for the shiny regional variants. You have to move in the exact same pattern every time to encounter Mew. There's other patterns you can do, but this is the one I do, and sometimes if I mess up, it still lets me encounter it. If I can, like, sometimes I can just go into the grass if I mess up, and it'll still, like, let me encounter it, but sometimes it doesn't. For the most part, you do, but there's multiple ways to encounter Mew. This is just, like, the most efficient one. What are DA exclusive? Zygarde, Lunala, Solgaleo, Tapu's, Necrozma? That might be it, outside of the ones you've said. Imagine if shinies change for every generation. I would hate that. I would actually hate that. I'm okay with them, like, updating certain shinies that are bad, like what they do with Combuskin. But I do not want to see a different shiny for every generation. That would be so stupid. Are you trying to get on the DS? I'm trying to get Bidoof. I'm trying to get this guy up here. By the way, could someone still get Armored Mewtwo from Pokemon Go? Not currently. It's not available right now, but people have it. Calling Garchomp the worst shiny while Gengar exists is wild. And I don't even think Gengar is the worst shiny. I do think it's worse than Garchomp, though. Shiny Gengar in the Sprite-based games is so much cooler, though. Like, you guys don't even realize. I had a shiny Gengar on my Fire Red Badge Quest team, and when you fight Agatha, and she sends out a normal Gengar, it is crazy how much different they look, and it is cool. If you get the female shiny Bidoof, you can have a wedding. I don't have a preference on the gender. I don't remember what my childhood one gender was. I really don't, so I don't have a preference. If I remembered, I'd be like, well, I want it to be the same gender it was before. I want to say it was female, but it could have easily been male. Hope we get the English Mew. You mean the Spanish Mew? This one's in Spanish. If I got the English Mew, it would be in red and blue. Imagine getting a modded 2DS by surprise, only find the modded apps were removed. Is that what happened to you? People will say, like, imagine this, like, very oddly specific scenario happens, and I'm just like, did that happen to you? That happened, like, last stream. Someone said, like, a very oddly specific scenario, and I was just like, something's up here. What's up, Dinoisa? Welcome on YouTube. You're disappointed evolving your shiny Ghastly and Go, didn't realize how mid the shiny was. Usually I wait till I have multiple before I start evolving them, but even if I, like, usually for me it's like I don't care because I'll just hunt another one. Like, I had to explain in my YouTube video that I'm like, okay guys, this is for a badge quest, and Gengar's a very useful Pokemon. Like, I understand Gengar shiny is pretty bad, and Ghastly's is way cooler, but I will eventually hunt Ghastly again at some point. And I need to use a Gengar for this playthrough. And then people were still like, why would you evolve that into Gengar? And I was like, because I'll hunt another one. Yeah, I usually wait. I always, like, if you don't know shinies, I always look up what they look like before evolving them. Especially in Go, because there's no take-backsies in Go. You can't, like, soft reset or anything. Leafeon's up there for you for Ultra Mid Shiny. Yeah, Leafeon's pretty bad. Glaceon, however, is one a lot of people hate on that I actually think is kind of cool. Because It's kind of like Articuno, where it looks more icy and kind of fits the theme better. Like, I think Shiny Glaceon looks better than regular Glaceon. You know, hunt yourself a Ralts for your badge quest? What game are you hunting it in? If you tell me, like, Ruby Sapphire, I'll be like, oh, good luck. A lot of people have been doing that hunt lately, and I don't know if I'll ever do it, but it'd be crazy to get a Gen 3 Shiny Ralts. Collect Mew in every language. That would just be like saying, buy every language of Emerald and then hunt Mew in it. Like, no thank you. I'm okay with the Spanish one. Yeah, oddly specific moment. Worst hunt in Gen 3 has to be the early route C-Dot. If you're on Sapphire, or if you're on Emerald, then yes. It's a lot more common in Ruby. It wouldn't be that bad in Ruby and early route. Do I have a Discord server? I do not. Not a public one, at least. I have one that I call my cousin on and we play Minecraft together, but not one that people can just join. You get the shiny Mew, you're gonna head to bed. Well, thank you, and thank you for hanging out. Glaceon was the first full odd shiny you stumbled in Scarlet and Violet. Mine was Stunky. And then I found an Oinkologne. And then I found a Snorunt and a Psyduck and another Oinkologne. And then I was like, man, shinies might be a bit too easy in this game. And this is all full odds I'm talking. Abaya's been doing it for over a year and needs 2 for the Professor Oak challenge. Only 1. So, oh yeah, I've seen that. I'm assuming they're doing Emerald, right? Because you can't encounter C-Dot at all in Sapphire. And then Emerald, everywhere you go, C-Dot is 1% or 2% or something. It's like really unlikely to find in. I think it's 1%. So yeah. But in Ruby, like, C-Dot's pretty common. Going to Sao soon in 2 hours. You're getting tired now? Oh, you mean go? Well, it's all good. You're runaway hunting Shaman and Shining Pearl. Any helpful tips? I don't know. I've never hunted Shaman and Shining Pearl. I guess just use the bike and just go for it. Just run and then back and forth. I know it's a lot slower in Shining Pearl than it is in, like, BDS or in Platinum. Platinum is like there's no cutscene and the bike's better, but I don't think there's much more. If you're doing runaways, I don't think there's much more I could recommend. Shaman, I believe, cannot kill itself, and also the only thing Shaman can do is, like, heal itself, which is kind of annoying. But I don't think it can kill itself, and it's one of the only mythicals that has, like, a really high catch rate, so you can just, like, bring it to 1 HP, and then just, like, chuck balls, and you'll be able to catch it. That's cool. So there's nothing really else I'd recommend if you have, like, a false swiper. I accidentally found a shiny Masquerain. Masquerain's got a cool shiny, actually. I remember, like, I never really knew what it was, and I saw someone get one in, like, Gen 3, and I was like, wait, this shiny's insane. Or it might have been Gen 4. It might have been, like, a Safari Week. And I was like, wait, this shiny's incredible. And Surskit's cool, too. Imagine encountering shiny Arceus, but your Switch dies before you catch it. Well, I wouldn't have to worry about that, because if I'm hunting Arceus, I'm going to be recording it, and it needs to be docked to do that, so it'd be charging anyway. I'm like, for me, so the Switch also warns you twice when the battery's low. It warns you at 15% and then at 5%. If I ever get the 5% warning, I'm just like, alright, I'm done. Like, I won't play anymore. I'll charge it now. Or I'll find a charger to continue playing in handheld mode. So, that's on you if you find a shiny Arceus and your Switch dies. You're not too happy with your pulls from Paldean Fates. You got some cool pulls, but not any Mews. Okay, well, there's only 2 Mews in the set, and they're pretty unlikely. Like, I got really lucky pulling the Mew. But what did you get? Did you get any, like, full arts or, like, art rares or special art rares or anything? Or, like, I pulled, like, two or three full arts. I got 2 trainer full arts, and then the Mew full art. And then I pulled 2 art rares being the same Palafin, which was kind of disappointing, and then I got a few baby shinies. What's up, future dude? Welcome in. Professor Oak has the same name as you, Samuel. First quick ball though? Wait, what was first quick ball? You get a harvest skill swap setup too if needed. If you've never done any kind of SR or single hunt encounter base before. Good luck. What are you hunting? Oh, the shaman. I thought you were someone else because I saw Waffle's name like right below you, and you have the same. Right now, you guys have the same color in Twitch for your names. Both Joy-Cons have drift, so no point of portable mode for you. You can send those in and get them fixed for free by Nintendo. I still have to do that with a couple of my pairs of Joy-Cons. Right now, SR for a Torchic, you're actually quadruple tasking, counting on iPad, watching the stream on both, and that and phone, playing your 3DS, and then having to switch up enhancer, collect eggs, and oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot. Can't even like comprehend that. You got an Iron Shreds EX, Charizard EX, not the rare Charizard, baby shiny Jumpluff. Oh, you get the regular EX. Is the Iron Shreds isn't shiny, is it? I did pull a regular Noivern EX too, but that wasn't a shiny. I forgot there was like a regular Charizard EX. Baby shiny Jumpluff and Luxray and a full art shiny Palmy card. Yeah, I didn't get the Palmy. I got 2 Palafins. There's only 3 of those ones. They're the regular art rares. There's a Wug Trio, a Palafin, and a Palmy, and I got the Palafin twice. Right now, I already read that. Not to mention, the Switch usually doesn't close the game when your battery initially runs out. You need to leave it dead for a bit before that happens. Oh, interesting. Quick ball the Shaman first. Well, if you want to catch it in like a unique Pokeball or something special, then don't. But if you just want to catch it, then sure, go for a quick ball. I like trying to match the colors of the shinies to the Pokemon. A netball would be actually pretty cool on Shaman. I might do that for my Skyform one if I hunt that in Shining Pearl. My Shaman that I caught is in a Premier Ball, so maybe I'll make that one the Shaman or the Skyform, because the Premier Ball has like the Skyform has the red like leaves on it or petals or whatever they are. Nintendo still does free. I think they always have to. They lost a lawsuit about it. That's why they do it in the first place. I think they legally have to. And Quick Ball, it's gross not to match shiny colors and doesn't match any shinies. No, you can use whatever Pokeball you want. But I like to match the shiny colors. So, like, I would use Quick Ball on, like, I use Quick Ball on Drifloon. I think I did it on Weasel as well. Quick Ball looks really good on some shinies. Wish you got more than that, though. Yeah. You're watching a stream on your laptop with your Switch and phone on your lap and hatching eggs for Fuecoco. You guys are crazy. You're only getting one trainer box. Yeah, I try to get one of each like product. So I got like the blister packs and then the ETB. And I know there's a couple tins that you can get. I don't know if they're out yet. And I think there's gonna be a couple like premium boxes. So I'll like get those, and then I'll probably just like not open any more of the set. I don't want to, you know, you get down that rabbit hole of just like keep getting it, trying to pull a chase card, but it's like ultimately, like if I open all the products, get all of the cool promos that are shiny, and then I'll just buy the rest of the cards I want online. That's kind of my like go-to. People have their opinions. Rather catch a shiny in a quick ball rather than fail it. I mean, Shaman's pretty hard to fail, so you don't really have to use a quick ball. I want to catch shiny Azelf in a quick ball, though. But it's going to be tough. I'm worried about that one. Went to heal ball for Shaman, match the flowers. That's a cool one. I never even thought about that. That's cool. Yeah, you should... I don't know why I just left that. I didn't even get to the Mew. Yeah, so Shaman's really easy to catch. Like, I caught it in, like, one Premier Ball. Like, if you bring it to 1 HP and put it to sleep, or even just 1 HP, it shouldn't take you that many balls to catch it. Same with, like, Mew. Like, Mew and Shaman have, like, this really easy catch rate for some reason. And, like, all the other mythicals are, like, legendary catch rates. About 1,300 Pokeballs to get enough Premier Balls for this Hedgehog boy. Nice. Test captures prevent way more fails than quick balls. Also, we are talking about shiny Shaman. Like, Shaman is a very easy Pokemon to catch. That'd be like trying to prepare for like a... Okay, this is going to be an exaggeration, but that'd be like trying to prepare for like a shiny Bidoof, you know? Like, you're not going to fail it unless you start attacking it. Like, without False Swipe, you know? A little more chill just playing on a 2DS while watching stream, yeah. Kakarot, that 100% catch rate. Yeah, just choose whatever you want on it. I just caught it in a regular Pokeball. So that when I do my Gen 9 Living Dex, I can just show that recording that I did. Be like, yep, caught this in a Pokeball. Same with Blood Moon Ursaluna, Ogerpon, and... Literally, I still have to catch the Loyal 3 in Pokeballs because I didn't want to deal with them. And then the Paradox, the new Paradoxes. So those ones will actually be like full on. Like I'll do that when I do that Living Dex challenge. Do test captures for Bidoof. I don't do test captures for everything, but I'll look up movesets, what the Pokemon have beforehand. And, alright, hold on, let me see something. I definitely didn't add this one. Okay, cool. Forgot to add that one. That's why I was checking. I was like, did I add that? Let me check the stream. I did not. But yeah. I check movesets beforehand. And then even usually I'll be paranoid, and when I get the shiny, I'll be like, let me just check the moveset just in case before I start attacking this thing. So I'll do that, but I only really do test captures for like legendaries. I've done a couple test captures for this Mew. But that's not because the Mew is like hard to catch, but because it has Metronome. And Metronome just means at any point you could fail it if you're not prepared. It could Metronome Self-Destruct, Metronome Roar, Metronome Whirlwind, Metronome Explosion, Metronome Double Edge, Metronome Takedown, you know. And do all those. When you wake up, first thing you do, eggs, is look around for something to chew, exotically feeding yourself very tricky. You're stuck on the eggs right now. Sword and Shield was good, you do agree, especially with Count... wait, what did Golden Onyx say about... Wait, Sword and Shield was a good game, don't at me. I missed that. Yeah, Sword and Shield's my favorite Switch Pokemon game. Out of all the Switch Pokemon games we've gotten, I think Sword and Shield is easily the best. Will you buy Violet DLC for the exclusives? I'm gonna have to, unless they do a raid event for them. It's so dumb. I have to drop $35 to catch 2 shiny locked Pokemon. Like, that right there should sum up the state of the Pokemon games right now. The mainline games, at least. Your Living Dex videos are great, fun and informative. Thank you. They're a lot of work. It's the reason why I don't have them all, like, done now, you know? Like, they take a while to work on. But I'm a little more motivated to start Gen 6. I just bought a 2DS that I'm waiting for it to ship. I think it's supposed to come either tomorrow or, like, by next week. And then I'm going to start going for the Vivians. And then start going for Gen 6. I haven't even played the DLC yet, doing a Form Living Dex first. I think this is a lot. You almost always multitask all the time. I mean, I multitask, but I don't go, like, crazy with it. Like, I'll shiny hunt and, like, watch stuff. I'm not gonna do 15 different hunts at the same time, though. Like, doing this is, like, enough. Doing a random encounter hunt and then this weird runaway hunt is enough to, like, I don't need to do more than this. Thankfully, Burn Strat has killed the metronome threat. Yeah, true. You just gotta hope I don't mess up the Burn Strat. Sword and Shield is that one game you'll just defend till your last breath. Yeah, I'll defend it. I mean, like, for people who say it's bad because the story's bad, like, I can't disagree with that, but I think the story sucks, but everything else I think is just done way better than in, like, all the other Switch Pokemon games. Besides, like, Legends has a lot going for it, though. I just wish they didn't do freaking Research Level 10 boosting your shiny odds. Like, again, as soon as you start forcing players to do one thing or the other, in that case, it's forcing players to do boosted odds shiny hunting, I have an issue with that. Like, I'm sure most people would be up in arms if the next game had 1 in 8192 shinies, single encounters, and no methods at all. It's the same way I feel when they have a game that forces you to do method hunts. Like, I like being able to pick and choose how I want to hunt, you know? What Violet Mons do I mean? Oh, so in the DLC for Indigo Disc, there's these new Paradox Pokemon based on the Swords of Justice and the Beasts. And they just... So there's Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, which are Paradox, Suicune, and Virizion. They were only available in raid events, and they were, like, teasing the DLC. So we caught them during our raid events. Cool. And I thought for sure they were going to be in the DLC, because, like, you spent $35 on it. They aren't in the DLC. And then there's a Paradox Entei, a Paradox Raikou, then there's a Paradox Terrakion, and Cobalion. You only get one of them in the DLC. They are pretty much legendaries. They essentially are counted as legendaries. You only get one static encounter of them. They're shiny locked. There's no way to get any more of them. And they're version exclusives. So, like, I bought Scarlet and Violet, but I'll have to drop another $70 to get just those Paradox Pokemon in the DLC, because you have to buy the DLC for both versions. Like, it's stupid. It's so dumb. Like, you're spending more than a full game for 2 shiny locked Pokemon. It is so bad. Overworld shinies are fine, just lower the encounter rate. They can be fine if you lower the encounter rate, but they need to not have it be the only way they do Pokemon games. So next game needs to not be Overworld. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Have it like, alternate. Like, do different games. Overworld shinies can be done well. We saw that with Legends, but Legends, there's other issues, and that's, like, them forcing you to raise your shiny rate and then having outbreaks be broken and not really having good methods. Overworld takes a lot away from methods. There's a lot less you can do with shiny hunting methods in Overworld. It's been very clear from the Overworld games we've gotten. The most unique method we've gotten in Overworld games was the catch combo in Let's Go. Legends in Scarlet and Violet, it's essentially just do the same thing either in a different area or with a permanent boost to your shiny odds. Like, there's nothing unique about them. But yeah, like, even if I say Overworld shinies are fine, like, they were fine in Sword and Shield, or in Legends, that needs to not be the norm. It needs to not be the norm. It needs to be something they do every game or two, like every other game or 3, or like it. I personally think the way they did Overworld and Sword and Shield is the best. I like the excitement of not knowing something shiny, running into it, and then all of a sudden there's a shiny in your face. Like, I think that's the most excitement you can have from a shiny. And you just can't get that when you see them from across the map shiny already. Really takes that excitement away. And then another, like, nitpick for me in Legends is, like, I definitely think ultimately the shiny sparkle in the overworld with the audio cue is more exciting than what we had in Scarlet and Violet. But they need to lower the radius of which you get that sparkle. Because I was finding shinies left and right in Legends because from, like, this is an over-exaggeration, but, like, I would hear the sparkle from, like, so far away and then be like, oh, there's a shiny all the way over there. When it should be, like, closer to your vicinity to really, like, catch you off guard would make more sense. But again, I always think the traditional encounters are going to be better. Last legendary fight in Sword and Shield gave you chills with that soundtrack. What was it, Calyrex? I don't remember it. I'm sorry. The battles are just more dynamic when they're, like, not overworld, too. Pretty much why you're doing 3DS nowadays. Yeah, I mean, it gets old. It gets old. It hasn't been polished yet, and it also just isn't better, in my opinion, so it's... I think even if they polish the crap out of the way overworld works, I still think I won't enjoy it as much as traditional encounters. Just don't want overworld shinies, yeah. I think it's just more exciting. Not only does overworld shinies by default make it easier to find shinies, which again takes away some of the excitement for me, but there's just so much more you can do with traditional encounters in terms of what methods you can implement and make things unique and give more options for shiny hunting as opposed to just doing the same thing over and over again. Like Scarlet and Violet, 90% of the shinies you hunt in it, you just hunt the same way, you know? Sword and Shield, there's so many different ways to go about, like, targeting a shiny. Sword and Shield's DLC didn't have version exclusive legendaries. Yeah, like that's what they should have done. Like I get it, it was like past and future paradoxes, but it should have been like you choose one of them. Like maybe you get to access the time machine again, and this time you can pick if it goes in the future or past. And then you just have to make multiple save files, which is still annoying, but it's better than what we got. Like, I'd rather make multiple save files than drop $70 total for a few Pokemon. I really don't think the DLC was worth it for Scarlet and Violet for the price it was, with how little there is to do after you beat the story. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that my freaking YouTube chat is gone. I don't think I missed that much, though. I didn't miss that much. Your prediction for the upcoming games are Black and White 3, Let's Go Johto, or Espeon Umbreon. Maybe in around 3 years we'll get Legends Kalos. I think that we're for sure getting a Johto remake. I don't think I hope it's not Let's Go, if I'm being honest. I don't think it'll be Let's Go, but I also hope it isn't Let's Go. I hope it's just a Gen 2 remake that's better than BDSP. I think the game that I want to see is not coming for at least another year. You like Legends Arceus because of the Giratina fight? Yeah, like Legends Arceus was great to play through. It was my favorite Pokemon game to play through. My favorite game to play through. But after, it's the same as Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet was fun to play through, but after that, it's just, there's not much to do because everything is so easy to get. And, like, the overworld just isn't as exciting as it is, like, when you, for, like, shiny hunting, which is what keeps me going. Have I hunted the 64 Alchemy? I have 21 of them. I have 21 of them. And I'll probably rehunt all 64 of them, but I'm going to start hunting a set relatively soon. Yeah, Caborius, you can still trade locally once You can still trade locally once the online gets down. You just can't trade over online. And also, you can't trade between Sun and Omega Ruby. You can't do Gen 6 to 7 trading. You can do like Sun to Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to like Sun and Moon. You can do like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire to like X and Y, but you can't do like cross generation. You can still use Bank to send them up though, but you won't be able to send them back. You hope Gen 5 remakes don't have overworld encounters? Yeah, I agree. You want pixel Pokemon game in the art style of Octopath Traveler? That would be cool, but I don't see them doing that. I can't see them going back to sprites. Wasn't Regieleki and Regidrago version exclusives? No, you just pick which one. You just have to do multiple playthroughs. Same with the horses. It's the same thing. You pick one of them, and then that's the only one you get, and then you just have to play through again to pick the other one. Famous leaker, heavily hinting towards Gen 5 remake first. I just can't see that. Like, why would they remake a game that's newer than an older game? Like, Heart Gold, Soul Silver are older than Black and White. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I feel like you'll get an Ilka update of Heart Gold, Soul Silver like BDSP, but more polished. Apparently, the Pokemon Company was not happy with what Ilka did with BDSP, so... that might have been the end of that. Yeah, I do think if they get the time... and knowledge. Well, I don't know about knowledge. I think if they just get the time, they can make something great. Not much after it's sad. Sword and Shield is amazing. You get two very recently, Berserker and Dragapult. That's awesome. Yeah, there's just so much. Like, here's the thing. Like, you can hunt the same way every time for Sword and Shield. Like, you can do Masuda method the entire time if you wanted to. But, like, for, like, let's say Impidimp. Impidimp in Sword and Shield. You can breed for it, which is what probably most people did. You can do the encounters for it in the wild area during a certain weather, which is pretty cool. Or you can do the mushroom encounters via runaways in the Glimwood Tangle, which is what I did. So there's just like options there. Like in Scarlet and Violet, you either breed for it or you just spend 5 minutes finding it in the overworld with a sandwich. Like it's just so there's so much less depth to shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet. And a big part of it is just the overworld aspect of it. It was leaked that Ilka's working on that game. Okay, interesting. So maybe it is like a Heart Gold Soul Silver thing, and then they're gonna make like a better. Because like what I don't really think this is gonna for sure happen. But what I can see is them doing like a BDSP Legends Arceus thing, where like BDSP came out November and then Legends came out like January after. I can see them doing like a Johto remake November, and then like a few months later, some Unova game. That's not necessarily a remake, but it's just a new Unova game. Is it Strong Spawn Dragapult to Berserker? Just normal, but very fun. Yeah, like, it's just cool that there's options. There's so many, and like there's also, like, the berry trees you can hunt. There's fishing encounters. There's the Brilliant method if you want to do that. There's, like, you know, there's Overworld versus Ingrass that you can do as well. There's so many different ways to shiny hunt in Sword and Shield, and it's cool. I'm hunting in the Motostoke gym. And I got Sizzlipede and Vulpix. Like, that's just cool. But I gotta get some more water. I'm out of water, so I gotta get water. That's why I stopped doing encounters. So I'll be right back, though. Okay, I'm back. Now we can continue our conversation. I'm like, my mouth is getting dry, and I'm like, I don't have water, I gotta get water. You're fine with any new game. My ideal new Pokemon game, if I'm being honest, is like essentially Gen 10, but like more in line of what Sword and Shield was, but with a better story and better graphics. And I just know, like, obviously I'm not expecting Gen 10 to come anytime soon, so like what I'm expecting is not my ideal game. Like, I think we're gonna get a remake, which, if done well, would be cool, but with what we just saw with BDSP, not super hopeful, you know? A faithful remake is a statement that has been leaked by Riller Kudo. That sounds awful. We need to not... You gotta... I just hope they're wrong. I mean, there was a lot of negative reception for BDSP. They need to not do faithful remakes. Like, give us more like ORAS or Heart Gold Soul Silver or Fire Red Leaf Green. Like, same game on the surface, but with more like newer mechanics, more to it, later gen stuff. Update, like, modernize them. Don't just make them faithful, because like at that point it's not worth it. It's not worth it if you just have the originals. Why don't they just not remake and just bring Heart Gold Soul Silver? Because that would be too obvious. No fishing in Scarlet and Violet is a crime, but how would you fish in a game like that? What would be the point of fishing if you can just see every Pokemon in the overworld? You know? That's, you know, there's like, that's the thing. When they do overworld like that, there's so much lacking in like what you can do mechanically with like how Pokemon works. Run on and off the shiny charm. Was that just like a feature you want? I think if you could toggle the shiny charm, that'd be cool. When I got the shiny charm in Sword and Shield, and then my friend got a couple of full odd shinies randomly, I was like, man, it kind of sucks that I can't just get random full odd shinies anymore. So now I just don't get shiny charm anymore unless I'm doing that Mark challenge. But those are like separate profiles. Gen 10 is a big moment for Pokemon. Here's to hoping they actually put some effort into this gem. I mean, I'm really nervous about Pokemon Day. I think the direction the Pokemon franchise has been going is not what I'm interested in and is not as nearly as fun for me. And I'm just curious to see if they're gonna keep going with that, which I hope they don't, or they go back to more like of the style games that I like, but just make them better. So yeah. And then there's the whole bank thing. Like they still haven't made an official statement on bank, besides alluding to the fact that they'll shut it down, being very vague on it. So there's a solid chance they say something, they address something like that in February. Oh, Gen 10 gives you the option between overworld and traditional. It for sure will not. They will never do that. That's something they will never do.
This does put a smile on
Silver
my
Surfer,
face.
thank you for the follow. Thank you for putting a smile on Thanos' face. I do appreciate it. Heart Gold Soul Silver, but different online and quality of life updates. But like, do more. Like, make it so you can get like Gen 8 and 9 Pokemon in it. Like Gen 5 and up Pokemon. Don't do it like they did BDSP, where it's essentially the same game with just a couple changes. Like, it's silly that you can't get, like, a Mr. Rhyme in a game where Mr. Mime is available in. Like, at least have those kind of updates, you know? So expensive, you collect all the Pokemon now. Oh, it's so expensive to collect all the Pokemon now? Yeah, you need a lot of games. I've just been buying them, like, as I go, so it's not like... The only one that, like, really sucked to buy was White 2. But for the most part, I buy them at, like, pretty decent prices, because they're, like, just when they were newer. I wish they somehow made camping and fishing a bit cooler in Sword and Shield. Oh yeah, there's curry hunting, too! You can shiny hunt with the camp! There's so many cool things to do in Sword and Shield. The camping was fun. I just their little like ways to do, if they like combine camping with like the synchro machine, that'd be cool. Because there's just like those little things, just like being able to like check out your Pokemon and experience them and have fun interactions with them is always fun. And the synchro machine did like a cool thing with that. But also the camp and stuff is like really fun. And I think the picnics were lame in Scarlet and Violet. The whole sandwich mechanic in Scarlet and Violet was honestly really lame. It was like goofy at first, and then it was like, okay, well, this is just... It wore off. Make a game of all Paradox Mons. They won't do that. It'd be cool to see more, but it'd be cool to shiny hunt some of these Pokemon in like a more traditional style game. How cool would it be to see like giant Dondozo in like a traditional encounter screen, full size, 2 scale? They need to have Pokemon be 2 scale. I want to see the freaking 40-foot Whale Lord when a trainer sends it out like in XD, or was it XD and Coliseum? I guess it was in both. Sword and Shield was your first Pokemon game, so you love it? Yeah. That's kind of like the go-to. Whatever your first Pokemon game is, you love it. Although my first mainline game was Pearl, and I do like Platinum like way more. So, I mean, I still like Pearl, but I'm usually like Platinum. Like, let's go Platinum. Don't think you've been excited about a shiny in Scarlet and Violet. It's a big reason why I prefer full odds on saying. And like, yes, that's I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But even for me, it's like even full odds in Scarlet and Violet is like that. Like for me, it's just like I prefer full odds hunting, but in different games. I think a faithful remake of Heart Gold, Soul Silver and BDSP improved graphics would be perfect if done correctly. Yeah, but they probably won't do it correctly. They'll make it the exact same game with like no changes. And in the changes they do make, the issue with BDSP is that going off of ORAS and Heart Gold, Soul Silver and Fire Red Leaf Green, they did the bare minimum with BDSP, and the changes they did make were not necessarily better. Like the only good change, in my opinion, for BDSP was the fact that you can encounter different Pokemon in the Grand Underground. Like that was like it opens up a lot of opportunities for like shiny hunts and stuff, and it's a cool feature overall. But like the secret bases weren't as cool. Like, you know, like not everything about it was great about the Grand Underground, you know? The Diglett method sucked. They added Shiny Charm, but it doesn't work properly. It's like they changed Pal Park into Raminas Park, and then just like, yes, at least you can shiny hunt the legendaries, but I'm kind of over them making it so you can encounter every legendary in every game, because I already have them from every other game. Like, I'd rather have, like I was hoping that, like, Raminas Park was gonna be, like, a wild area type thing, going off of Sword and Shield, but, like, with later-gen Pokemon, and not just the first 3 generations of legendaries, you know? So that was, like, a big disappointment for me. Camping was underrated. We can see Pokemon Overworld and in the grass. Well, like, just do it like Sword and Shield, but just have it so that the shinies don't show up Overworld. You know? That's all I care about. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to fix this angle, and it's, like, making it... That's decent. I think they'll do a Bank Light version to try to keep it up. I mean, I hope you're right. That'd be awesome. I just hope they find a way to convert Bank to make it local. Want a Pokemon Home on PC so we can transport all Pokemon? They'll never do that. To be so strange that the Pokemon Company made a game with the Gen 6 through 9 Pokemon in the Heart Gold, Soul Silver sprite style. It would be crazy. I won't see them. I wouldn't see them do it. I can't see them doing that, like, ever. Let's just hope whatever game comes out next, it isn't as ugly as Scarlet and Violet. Hey, don't say that. People will start quote tweeting you and saying, are we at this stage? There was someone who said, like, Sword and Shield looks better than Scarlet and Violet, which is objectively correct, by the way. And it got quote tweeted of like, oh, we're on this era where people are saying the earlier game looked better. It's like, I never thought Scarlet and Violet looked better than any other Pokemon game. I think Scarlet and Violet looks terrible, except for the Pokemon models. Pokemon look fine, but the overall art style and graphics of Sword and Shield just look better than Scarlet and Violet. I don't like this like realistic approach they're trying to do with Pokemon. Like I like that cell shaded style. It looked way cooler. Let's drop the open world for it. Yeah, I don't need open world Pokemon. I have figured that out with the last 2 games. If they want to do open world, do it more like Legends, but no more open world. I don't think Pokemon, like if you want an open world Pokemon game, play Pal World. Like honestly, like that's a different game. You know, people like keep seeing these other like Pokemon clone games, the quote unquote Pokemon clone games, and they're like, oh my gosh, Game Freak is too afraid to do this. Game Freak, it's like. Yeah, they don't do it because if they do, it's a different game. It's not Pokemon anymore. Like, make a different game at that point. Just really want home-compatible ports with the GB. I think they will for the Switch too. When you think you reach 500 SRs on Torchic, you're heading over to LGPE to hunt the birds through SRs. What game are you hunting Torchic on? Is it in ORAS or Ruby Sapphire or some other game? Yeah, BDSP was too faithful. That's why when you say faithful remake, I'm just thinking, well, we can just have Heart Gold Soul Silver with different graphics. That I already have. Yay. You're not my fan, you're my friend. Okay. They just don't want to do the cutaway screen. The whole smooth transition from overworld to battle is way too popular right now. Yeah, and it's not good for Pokemon. It's not. We had a post on, like, dude, they could literally just, like, do an open, I mean, like, they could do an open world Pokemon and just, like, have, like a wipe. Like, you encounter it, wipe, you're in a battle. Like, have a seamless transition to a battle, like a full-on battle scenario. And then hide the shiny in that. They just, made a post on our Pokemon asking why are we even hated Pokemon Sword, and every comment I left defending the game got massively downloaded. Really? I always enjoyed Sword and Shield. I was never like Sword and Shield got me back into shiny hunting. Like I was kind of like lost motivation to shiny hunts when Let's Go was the newest game. In Sword and Shield, I was like, wait, this is so fun again. And this is when I wasn't even like that into shiny hunting. Yeah, all the new if they did encounters like Sword and Shield, I'll be so happy for like any new Pokemon game. It was a good way of doing it. It was exciting. It was fun. You could target your Pokemon. What they need to do is because people are they're so used to getting shinies really easily. What they need to do is do single encounters, but with extremely effective methods. Like, have the odds be higher, or make the encounter rate way higher with the methods and stuff like that, you know? Like, over 100 per post. Yeah, people are just weird. Sword and Shield are easily the best Switch games, and that's just, like, an objective fact. But I won't... I won't rag on anyone for saying, like, their favorite's Legends or, like, Let's Go. If you say Scarlet and Violet is your favorite games, you're probably thinking of it for the wrong reasons. Scarlet and Violet are one of the best Pokemon games, story-wise, narratively. But outside of that, they are easily, like, one of the worst Pokemon games. Scarlet and Violet were the first Pokemon games that I played and was like, these don't feel finished. And it's still crazy that there's still terrible lag in those games. And people will be like, well, the Switch can't handle it. The Switch handles more intense games than Scarlet and Violet just fine. They just didn't polish it and optimize it. I honestly don't like Sword and Shield that much, honestly. But like, why? Because the story sucked and you didn't like playing through it? That makes sense. The story does suck in Sword and Shield. If they had a game like Sword and Shield that just has an infinitely better story and better characters and stuff, then I think a lot more people would be happy. And better graphics. Like, obviously, we can always... We can never not want better graphics. Like, that's a given. Not including Team... Wait. You're not including Team Star? On, like, what? Team Star... Are you talking, like, the story was good except for Team Star? I kind of agree with that. The Team Star was so expositional and just not interesting. Like, I'm sorry. Although Penny's... Their music was great, especially Penny's theme was so good for the battle. You're literally playing Breath of the Wild. Exactly. Like, it blows my mind that people think that Scarlet and Violet is too intense of a game for the Switch to handle when Breath of the Wild came out 5 years earlier. And there's only one place where the game lags, and that's in the Korok Forest where you get the Master Sword. That's the only... And it's not even for the whole place. It's for, like, one little area by, like, the fast travel point that lags. And that game has way more detail, way better art direction, and way more to it. Like... Make it a little bit harder to hunt for the average size gender-specific requirements for shinies you get in Scarlet and Violet. It might take a few hours to get what you want. Yeah, like, that's the thing. In a local Discord that I am in, someone was like... Someone asked, what's with Cyndaquil and why is it so hard to shiny hunt in Scarlet and Violet? And I'm like, it's not. Nothing's hard to shiny hunt in Scarlet and Violet. And they're like, well, a lot of people are saying it's like really hard to shiny hunt. And I'm like, well, really hard to shiny hunt in Scarlet and Violet means it might take an hour to find. Like, dude, you make a sandwich and go in and out of that cave. Yeah, you'll probably phase a bunch, but it ultimately won't take you that long to find a shiny Cyndaquil. Like people complain like something's too hard when it's like they just phase a lot or like this or that. It's like minor inconveniences. Like again, like that. This is one of the issues I have with Scarlet and Violet is the fact that they like removed pretty much every out of battle effect for ability. Like I think it's silly that we can't use Cute Charm to like affect the genders of the Pokemon that spawn in. But yeah, it's like ultimately you'll just phase a couple times in 30 minutes and like that's it. Team Star sucked, yeah. It was just boring. And you couldn't... Dude, it was wild to me that when you enable the skip cutscenes option in Scarlet and Violet, it skips the emotional roller coaster that is Arven restoring his Mabostiff. But it still plays the stupid flashback freaking Team Star exposition crap that no one cares about. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I skip cutscenes and we're still, like, button mashing A through this, like, throwback. Oh, this happened on this day. And they all say the same crap, dude. That's one thing I have issue with, like, every Pokemon game. They need voice acting. And they need to not rely so much on exposition, because it is so frustrating when, this is, like, the DLC and the epilogue... You literally button mash through exposition and then do a few battles, and that's it. Like, there's not much there. Longest hunt in, at one point in Scarlet and Violet took 1.5 hours, and you spent 80 on a hunt in Sword and Shield and didn't get it. It's a drag. You just gotta be patient, man. Shinies are meant to be rare. I will admit, like, there should be more... Like, Sword and Shield didn't have the best methods for hunting in terms of raising your odds. The Brilliant method wasn't great. So they need to have better methods than that. But on the base, the shinies should be really rare. And you shouldn't expect to get every single shiny like you can do in Scarlet and Violet. It just causes people to be so, like... And I hate to say it, but, like, spoiled about it. Where people get annoyed when they don't get a shiny in, like... an hour. When it's like, dude, shinies used to be myths back in the day. Now, they don't need to be that crazy all the time, but they need to be rare with just better methods of finding them if you want to, like, put the time in to, like, do a method. You know? Oh, shiny... Oh, the cutscenes are what you're talking about. Oh, interesting. Oh, I thought you meant... Well, you said on a hunt, so I wasn't sure. The characters are so bad. Why do we care about them if Game Freak doesn't? Well, I think they want us to care about it. I think it was just the way they presented the Team Star people. Okay, I missed a lot on Twitch chat. I gotta catch up with it. I think the rationale might be to just update the 2-screen DS titles to single screen for Switch without improving them. Yeah, probably. Just kind of irritated that Shiny's now become such a highlight now in the franchise. Game Freak milks it for money or just uses them as bait for events. Yeah, I agree. Shinies were better when they were Easter eggs, not core features of the game. And I think they lean too much into it to the point where it's like, if shinies aren't super easy to get now, people have issues. And that's just not how it should be. Like, the fun of a Pokemon game should be whatever else you can do that isn't shiny hunting. And then shiny hunting should be like this side thing that you can do that is more of an Easter egg that isn't really talked about, you know? Outside of, like, you know, obviously shiny hunting content and streams and stuff. Your favorite games are Sun and Moon, might be Ultra Sun, Moon after you finish this. I like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon more than Sun and Moon, but it was weird how they released them. I think everyone kind of agrees that the way they released Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon right after was lame. I think after a year or two, they psyched the you mean like fixed the lag in those games? I thought they would fix them early on, and they just never did, and they definitely won't anymore. Two Pokemon games have had insanely good music. Toby Fox went crazy for the professor fights. Yeah, they're really good. The music is really good in Scarlet and Violet. Like, that's one of my few positives of the game. Breath of the Wild took a whole year debugging only. Yeah, like, that's because I don't even think it's that they don't care. I think the Pokemon company, like, rushes them. They say, like, we gotta get these deadlines on. When, like, Nintendo... Because Nintendo doesn't oversee the production of Pokemon games. They just distribute them and, you know, probably take a cut of some of the money and whatnot. But Nintendo, in the past few games, have literally been like, oh, yeah, take as much time as you need to make these games good. Or you get all this creative... Like Super Mario Wonder. Apparently the team got just a ton of creative freedom for Super Mario Wonder. Tears of the Kingdom. Apparently it was just like, yeah, work as long as you need to for these games. And then, like, you know, like Metroid, was it Metroid Prime 4 or whatever? I don't follow the Metroid series, but there's that one Metroid game that got announced so long ago, and apparently they weren't happy with it, so they scrapped it and are building it from the ground up again. You just can't do that with the current, like, state of Pokemon. They're too strict on, like, deadlines and stuff. And the games suffer because of it. Shiny an hour and optimal running... Bot in Emerald doing random encounters. We call lucky if it gets 2 in a day. I've gotten 2 shinies in a day on school games. I've gotten 4 in a day. It's called luck. But yeah, my longest full odds hunt in Scarlet and Violet was like maybe 2 hours. So it's like, you know. I'm not saying every shiny hunt needs to be tedious, but shinies need to be rare to start and then have more effective methods for people that don't want that. Because the way they're going at, it's like, it'd be like again, like, you gotta see the other side. Imagine if the next game went back to 1 in 8192 odds, went back to single encounters in grass, and there were no methods. People would be up in arms about it. So when they start making shinies this easy by default, it's my side is the, like, you know, we have the issue, but people just like, oh, you're elitist, you don't get a say. It's like, no, but I don't enjoy hunting this way. Like, there should be options. There should be ways to keep them rare and then have more effective methods for those who want them. And people don't get that. You're going to head out, go get shiny. Well, thank you for hanging. Yeah, I agree, Indy. I honestly agree. I think in like I said it in my clip where I got my shiny marked Litwick. I think Scarlet and Violet ruin shinies. It ruins the idea of shinies for me. It never ruined a value of shinies. There's never been a value of shinies. But the idea of shinies was always still there no matter how effective they had methods. Like, they had chain fishing in Gen 6. They had guaranteed shinies even in Gen 2. They had odd egg in Gen 2. They had wormholes in Gen 7. Like, there were really, really stupid easy ways to get shinies. But at the base of it, they were still rare. And now they are not rare at the base of it. So for me, Scarlet and Violet ruin shinies. The concept of shinies for me, because the thing I like about shinies is that they're rare. So when by default they are just uncommon, it's just not fun anymore for me. Gen 4, oh yeah, Poke-Radar's kind of broken in Gen 4 too, but again, you don't have to do it. In Scarlet and Violet, you still have to get the crazy, stupid, broken overworld encounters that are shoved 15 encounters at a time in your face, even if you want to do full odds. What's cool about Poke-Radar, though, is that there's two crazy... You can full odds hunt with Poke-Radar. You can either do a 0 chain and just keep running it until you get a shiny patch, or you can try to chain for a Pokemon and just don't go into shiny patches, and then go until you get just a shiny from a non-shiny patch, which is obviously the harder one to do. There aren't fake copies of Gen 7, are there? I mean, there might be, but it's unlikely that you would just find one on eBay. We're not at that era yet where the Gen 6 and 7 cartridges are, like, too expensive that people would start faking them to make a quick buck. Like, you could probably find, like, Gen 7 cartridges, like, in box pretty easy online. Like, I bought Omega Ruby for $40 in box, sealed. Which is, like, MSRP, you know? So, you've been told 3DS encryption prevents fakes entirely. Oh, really? That's interesting. I'm sure people will find a way at some point. Except for Ed Sheeran in the soundtrack. I actually don't mind that song. I actually enjoy that song. I'm not, like, the biggest Ed Sheeran fan, though. Like, there's only, like, 2 songs I kind of like by him, and that's one of them. And I will say, though, the freaking remix they did of that song for the end of the Indigo Disc was awful. That was so bad. That one's terrible. Thing is that Pokemon Company makes other merch early in advance and plans to release them on that date. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a whole thing on why mainline games, like, suffer nowadays. And it's because their main moneymakers are not the mainline games. They just need those games to come out so that they can start selling merch on the Pokemon and stuff, so they don't have to try as hard, they don't have to polish things, they just get that deadline out so they can start selling merch. And it's an issue. Because before, when Pokemon was a newer IP, the mainline games were the big money makers, so they had to put care into them and, like, put time into them and polish them. But now they don't have to do that anymore. Official Fizz, the Mew is legal. It doesn't have to be Japanese. As long as it's from this event, it is legal. It'll send through bank just fine. I've sent multiple of these Spanish Mews into bank. Oh, also Gabe said the same thing. Gabe, yeah, answering your question. But the Pokemon you forgot the names of has really good music and Scarlet and Violet. Are you talking about Pecharunt? Or Pecharunt? Pecharunt just sounds weird. I'm just going to call it Pecharunt. I don't really remember its song, though, unless you're talking about the Mochi Mayhem dance, which that one is interesting. You have 8 boxes of shinies in Scarlet and Violet, and even got 2 Rare Mark shinies in a row. Yeah, I've gotten like 10 Rare Mark shinies now in Scarlet and Violet. And this is not including that event they're doing, where the Rare Marks are even more common now. I just don't get it, man. Rarity is such an important thing in a game about collecting, and it's just, Scarlet and Violet feels like they're doing everything in their power to make sure nothing has any sort of rarity in it. And it's like, what is the point? Like, what's the point of the rare mark if you're going to do events that make it common? What is the point of it? What's the point of a shiny if you're just going to make it really common? Like, I don't get it. Are you a distribution event Pokemon hunter? Not really. I have some event Pokemon that like aren't shiny or anything, but it's not something I like care. Like they'll do random ones. Like they'll give out like a dark Terra type Charizard for an event. I don't care about that. Like there's nothing crazy about that. I mean, you can literally do it, just takes quite some time and isn't worth the effort. Oh, are you talking about the, Are you talking about the fake copies thing? I think I missed something. Yeah, aside from Masuda, you're not doing Scarlet and Violet for too much because it ruined the rarity of shinies. Yeah, like outside of my Mark challenge, you guys won't be seeing me shiny hunts in Scarlet and Violet much. Like the only reason I've even played as much Scarlet and Violet as I have is because of my Mark challenge I'm doing. Sword and Shield didn't mess up the Square Star Sparkle program. The initial idea of having a rare shiny different would have been really good. Exactly. I think a lot of people hate on that, and I think if they had done it right the first time around, or it fixed it early on, I think a lot more people that say it was a stupid thing would probably like it more if it was like working properly, because it was a cool concept. A lot of people want them to make like new versions of shinies that are more rare, and I think that's so stupid. Like make different shiny colors, but the Square Sparkle thing like would have been a nice middle ground that would have been cool without having to like make a new shiny of every Pokemon, but still have like a rare version of a shiny, and they just messed it up severely and then never fixed it. And you know why they never fixed it? Because they were too busy working on the next game. Gotta get those deadlines in. You hated the whole P.E.K.K.A. run plotline? I just didn't like how, like, on the surface, like, it would have been better with voice acting. It was just, like, a bunch of exposition that you button mash through, and then you do, like, two or three battles, and that's it. And you also need an event item that will eventually go away. So it's like, it's not even like a permanent event you get if you just have the DLC. It'll eventually be unavailable, which I think is silly. There was no reason to have the mythical Pecha Berry. You've seen people hunting wild Terra Pokemon, which is kind of cool. Yeah, like, you can do resets in Scarlet and Violet for, like, the fixed spawns and the Terra spawns, which is cool. But, like, more often than not, it's just unnecessary, because you can just find the same odds shiny faster if you just do the encounters that they have for Scarlet and Violet, the overworld encounters. Even if you're, like, a full odds hunter, it's like, for the most part, like me, I would probably do more of the reset hunts, because that's like it slows it down. It probably makes it feel more special. But for most people, it's like you could full odds hunt the fixed spawns, or you could full odds hunt something in the wild, and the thing in the wild you're just gonna find infinitely faster. So most people would probably be like, oh yeah, let's just do the one in the wild. How many encounters are you averaging per hour with 2 games? Honestly, I have no idea. We don't get that many, though. I believe you just said you made a copy that works. Oh, you're still talking about that. I didn't even mention the mythical P.E.K.K.A. Berry in the epilogue. Yeah, that's what was so dumb. If it was like, I thought for sure that the mythical P.E.K.K.A. Berry that you get, I thought that was gonna be P.E.K.K.A. runs, and there was gonna be something you did to, like, make it turn into P.E.K.K.A. runs. But no. It's just there to make it a limited time event. That's all it's for. Like, the requirements to activate the event is to beat the main story and beat both DLC stories. And also get the mythical P.E.K.K.A. berry. Like, if they could have just cut that part out, and it would have been the exact same thing, but better. Because now there's a time limit on how you can get that event. It's so stupid. But yeah, like, I mean, I get it. It's an epilogue, so it's not supposed to be crazy, but it was literally just like button mashing A through exposition that you don't need, and then doing a couple battles. Which is an issue I have with like pretty much every Pokemon game. The DLCs, everyone's like, oh, playing through these DLC stories were so great, and I'm like, the characters were fine, but like gameplay wise, it's literally just you button mash A and then do a few battles. Like, if there was voice acting and you didn't have to button mash A and you could just listen to what they're saying, it'd be better. But, like, with the DLC in Scarlet Violet, like, they shiny lock everything, and they don't add that many features. So it's like you're spending $35 for, in my opinion, more things to hunt in a game where shiny hunting isn't fun. And then things that would have been fun to hunt are shiny locked, so that's just not worth it at all, when you can just catch them in other games. Being the legendaries. And then there's like a couple features. It's like, you spending $35 for a synchro machine and an item printer? I don't know, man. It doesn't seem worth it to me. So is P.E.K.K.A. run a limited time event somehow? Yes. Because the only way to activate the event is to get a mythical P.E.K.K.A. berry that is through a mystery gift distribution that's online. And we all know how the DS went. We all know how the Wii went. We all know how the 3DS and Wii U are going. Eventually, the online service for the Switch will shut down. And even if they intend to keep that mythical P.E.K.K.A. berry event for as long as possible, it will shut down someday. Because you have to be online to get it. Why do we think they shiny locked the legends in Scarlet and Violet? Why do we think they did? Like, as in, like, why do we think they are locked? As in, like, what's the evidence? It's just people that use bots and stuff to, like, see the shiny, or, like, use programs to see shiny values getting rolled. Make it very clear, and they tell people. If you're wondering, if the question is, like, why do we think, like, Game Freak's reasoning for locking them? It's just to be controlling. They probably want to distribute them there's so many different reasons it could be, and none of them are good reasons. Probably either want to distribute them in events to get people to participate more in events, which even if they didn't shiny lock them, lots of people would participate in those events anyway, so that would be irrelevant. Or they just, one of the reasons I heard they shiny lock starters is because they don't want people that, like, make content on the games, like streaming and stuff, to only show the first, like, 10 seconds of the game by resetting starters for weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't want people to make content on just resetting legendaries over and over again. They want people to experience the more of the game to get people to buy it more. But again, like, there's never a good reason to shiny lock things. There's shiny locks that are fine. Like, they shiny lock some uncatchable stuff, which is, like, fine. But again, I would just prefer if nothing was shiny lock. There's not a valid reason to, like, shiny lock things. Because even if you have uncatchable shinies that aren't locked, that still at least gives you, like, something to talk about and, like, a memory about the game if you experience it. Another reason they could have shiny locked the legendaries that we've heard before is that they don't think it's fair. Like, every 1 in 40, 96 people are probably would get a legendary shiny first try, and then that wouldn't be fair to people that didn't get it. There's a theory about, like, the consistency. You see it non-shiny in the overworld, and then when you encounter it and see the cutscene, and then it's shiny all of a sudden, wouldn't make sense. Which I think is one of the worst reasoning. It's just stupid. There's no good reason for it. Meanwhile, in the same year, both God of War Ragnarok and Resident Evil 4 Remake had a free DLC. We're both 100 times better than Scarlet and Violet, yeah. I was on board for DLC when they did Sword and Shield because I think the DLC in Sword and Shield actually like made the games better in a way. Added a lot more features, added new hunts to do that was like fun. And I thought it was worth it. I thought it was worth the $30 price tag. Scarlet and Violet DLC makes me not want them to do DLC anymore. I'm kind of on that train. I don't want to see them do DLC anymore. If it's going to be like that. Shiny locking everything. Everything else. It's literally like you're paying for Pokemon you can find in older games anyway. And then getting a little bit of a story. And then like a couple features that aren't really that amazing anyway. You know? Like it's not worth it. I mentioned about shiny Galar birds in your video. I missed shiny Moltres, so you have 2 out of 3 and it's gone forever. Yeah, you'll have to wait till they release it and go. They can make shinies in the overworld, they can make them in the cutscenes. Yeah. I mean, I don't want them to make shinies in the overworld though. So. I also think it doesn't matter. If you get a cutscene of a non-shiny and then all of a sudden when you encounter it, it's shiny, that shouldn't be like a thing to like, oh, we gotta fix this. This is too much. Like, no. Like, I think most people know what shinies are nowadays. Audio sounds a little off. Is my mic broken? What do you mean off? What do you mean one of my mics? Why would I have multiple mics? It's probably just you. You mean off isn't like it's out of sync? Out of sync? Because it's not. It's not out of sync. If my audio's out of sync, that means my camera's delayed, and I can see that my camera is not delayed right now, so you might just have to refresh the stream. It sounds a little echoey. Oh, it's probably because I have it set to the back, so you can hear the game audio a little more. I don't have like the most like perfectly insulated room that will like stop echoes, but I don't want it to be like dead silent when I'm not talking, so I want you guys to be able to like hear some of the audio from the games that I have on. So I have it set to the setting on my mic is so that it is it comes through the front and back are open, so meanwhile, legendaries and Let's Go, yeah, you can just stop. You can. They are overworld, and you can soft reset for them. How crazy is that? What a concept! What time is it? 4:51. Wiggly waffles with the bingo. Oh my gosh, we're really doing this. All right, I'm gonna be very brief with this because I've already talked about this multiple times on stream. But here is my bingo card. And I have Vulpix and Sizzlepede, and here's the hunt. If you want to keep looking at this later, you can ask me about it when it's not on the board, and I'll answer you, obviously. But if you want to, like, pause the stream or something, or screenshot it, now's your time. I'm going to put it away, though. Alright, 3, 2, 1, it's gone. But if you want to ask me about some of the stuff, feel free. When you send a Pokemon Go from home, it has the ugly G on top of it. If you send them into Let's Go first, if it's a Gen 1 or Meltan or Melmetal, they won't have the ugly G anymore. No, the more you know. Alright, well, here's the thing. The bingo redemption should not be that expensive, but if you guys are gonna abuse it, I'm gonna have to make it unnecessarily expensive. So, like, keep in mind that. Keep that in mind. Maybe I should limit it to 1 per stream, or like 2 per stream. Because you guys are making it hard for me, because this bingo thing shouldn't be like an annoying thing to do. But like, I don't want to have it like once per stream, because then someone who comes in later in stream and wants to know about it, like, that's not fair to them. But I don't want to also make it super expensive, because it's not really worth making it super expensive. So, like, you guys are going to easily ruin this thing after only starting it once. So, I think, choose wisely before you start making decisions like that. There's a reason why I had to make No Way like 3 times the price that it was before. It's just because it's the first stream. I've actually had it as a redemption for like the past like 10 streams and no one noticed it. You're going after Shiny Manaphy? I want to, but it could very easily be a hunt I don't get to this year. What I used to make the bingo card, I used Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator. That's what I make like all my thumbnails and stuff onto. And my layouts. You can soft reset for the overworld legendaries or just one in the static encounter. Separately. Yeah, you can soft reset for the legendaries in Let's Go. From the static encounters. The overworld ones, the birds in the overworld that you can find wild, can be shiny, but you can't like reset for them. They just work as any other shinies in Let's Go. Alright, well I have to get going. Unfortunately. So let me get to 2,950. Yeah, limiting the bingo to 1 person might work. Yeah, but that's not fair to anyone who comes in super late and wants to know what it is, you know? Maybe I just make it like, I don't know, because you guys are gonna abuse it even if I give it like an hour-long stream. You're gonna be like, oh, an hour's up, time to do it again. Like, no, the idea is like if someone's curious about what my bingo hunts are, they can like look at it, but you guys are just kind of making it annoying now. I already have a time limit on the redemption. It's like 10 minutes, but it's like I don't want it to be super long, because again, if someone comes into stream and genuinely wants to know what the bingo card is, like, I don't want to be like, no, you have to wait 30 minutes to do, you know? Like, it's not supposed to be that deep. You guys are just like already abusing it. Just notice how I'm hunting Mew on English games? I'm not. Might be hard to read, but it is definitely not English that is being spoken on these on these games. There's tricks you can do to unlock the Mew events in game on Emerald, even if it's not Japanese. Without a cheating device. You're going bird hunting? Good luck. I want to try to do the overworld birds in Let's Go because of how ridiculously tough it'll be. But it's going to be tough. And I don't know if I'll get to that. Is it 1 per person per stream? So like right now, it's you can only redeem it once per stream per user. But clearly you guys are like holding on to it and trying to like, oh, I'll use mine, now you use yours, which is not the idea. Not tracking the Bidoof. I am, it's just you can't see the counter. I'm at 3643 for Bidoof. It's too much to have like multiple counters on stream to like go between them. Especially when the encounters are like this quick. So, I just have it on my phone. It's over here. Alright, this is gonna be the last set of Mew encounters. And then I'll do one more Bidoof. Almost 3,000 on Mew, but I don't have time to get another 50 in, so I would have totally got to 3,000 if I could have. Golden, thank you for the shiny luck, but I gotta end it here. So that's gonna be it for this stream. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and I will see you next time.